record. I don't get yelled at. And I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to go through just a little tracker today together. I posted it in the chat if you want it. And I'll post it again at the end. But this is kind of what we're going to work through. Okay. So the very first thing with Success Club, this is like number one. The number one thing that you really have to do with this is understand why you're doing it for your business and you personally. So yeah, like Kylie, you just hit Success Club All-Star. There's definitely a flow and a rhythm that you have to get into in order to hit that, right? That's not just something that unintentionally happens by accident. That's something that is worked on, goaled for, committed every single month. So Success Club is the one goal in coaching that I say is non-negotiable. This is like the one non-negotiable goal. So I'm going to try and help you get to that point where it's like a non-negotiable thing for you every single month. And this is the reason why. For me personally, Success Club is really about coaches who are really, really here to help people. But it's also coaches who are really, really committed to a full solution. And what I mean by full solution is there's a lot of coaches who are like, yeah, it's fine if you just want to exercise. Yeah, just do whatever you want to do. You can join my group. You can do this program or whatever. And then there's coaches who are like, here's the program. This is what you need. This is what we're going to do for the next 90 days. This is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to use the products and the programs. And this is how we're going to get you results, right? There's a difference in the way that you approach transformation. And I think for me personally, because my transformation was so profound, I realized very quickly as a coach that you have to be the one for the people that you're coaching that doesn't waver. You have to stay so fully committed to that transformation. And every decision and every solution that you throw at people is really aiming towards that for that person. You're aiming towards that person's goal, that person's transformation, what's best for them, right? And so I think when you really take on that role as their coach, that's really when that connection really starts to deepen with your challengers, because you're not here to just tell them that it's okay to do whatever they want and continue doing whatever they've been doing, right? Because that hasn't been working for them. You're here to provide them something different that they could do forever. And so number one, just really understanding how diet and exercise together is really the magic. That's when transformation happens. Rarely does it happen in its complete form until both of those things are in play at some point, right? Because real transformation is, oh my gosh, I know how to take care of myself. I think some people think transformation is a before and after photo, a weight loss or weight gain, like whatever it is. They think it's like the physical manifestation of the work. But really, it's the internal transformation of the work that we're trying to get people on board with, which is, let's shift your lifestyle here. Let's shift your mindset here with how you approach your health and fitness and your personal self-care, so that you're not cycling in and out of toxic or unhealthy things anymore, right? That is what I'm talking about when I say diet and exercise have to be at play. If you want a real lifestyle shift and you really want to teach someone how to take care of themselves, right? Like they have to know both those things. So for me personally, that's something that I committed to really early on. And honestly, when I committed to becoming a full solution coach, meaning I'm going to sell every single person that I talk to exercise and nutrition, period. That's it. Like, this is how it works. You get to choose and you get to decide if you're going to buy it, but I'm going to provide the full solution every time, right? And that's kind of when things started to shift for me in a lot of different areas. Financially, my challenge groups got better. I got way better results. My relationships with my clients got better. I felt more confident as a coach. I just found a lot of things. So what we're going to work on first is really understanding your approach to Success Club, your mindset with it, shifting it a little bit. We're going to polish up sort of your nutrition ideology so that you know how to talk to people about food and nutrition in a way that is organic for you personally. And then we're going to create a post, and I'm going to teach you how to create engagement around Success Club. So the number one thing that's important to note is you have to sell supplements and nutrition in order to hit Success Club.
I'm good.
100%. Facts, right? Like you can't just sell fitness. You'll never get there. So how many of you guys have a nutrition element in all of your invite conversations? Like when you're actually selling someone into your challenge group, helping them commit, helping them get going, do you really heavily emphasize and focus and sell fitness or nutrition or both? That's important to know, okay? I personally focus heavily on fitness, but nutrition, the way that I sell nutrition is, this is non-negotiable. That doesn't mean like you have to do this or I won't work with you. What I mean is nutrition is non-negotiable. So if whoever I'm talking to ends up deciding I only want to do Beachbody On Demand, I'll say, okay, but I'm going to come back to you in 2 weeks and we're going to talk about your nutrition because you're going to start exercising and you're going to run out of steam. You're going to run out of energy. You're not going to see the results that you want. We're going to talk about this again, right? And so it's something that is constantly a conversation that I'm having, but it's not the main focus that I personally put out there because that's not my passion. I'm not a foodie. I am one of those people that if I could create my own world, there would be no food in it because it's so complicated. I would just be like, we don't need to eat, right? So understanding really your ideologies with food is really important because it'll help you talk about it a lot better. So here's my 3 tips before we get going. And I want you to kind of brainstorm, write this out on paper as I'm talking so that you can kind of get your brain flowing in this direction. Number 1, why is Success Club important for you personally? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Because I know it's really easy to look at other coaches, top coaches, your sponsor, your teammates who are all, pushing for Success Club all the time. But if that feels unnatural and organic, salesy to you, there has to be a shift there. You're the one that's looking at it in the wrong way. And that's the truth. I used to think that Success Club was really for my upline. Like I used to think it was a program that corporate was like beating down because it was about money and numbers and sales, right? Which B, it is, but A, it's more about the mission that Carl put in place for everybody, right? I want to help people live more healthy, fulfilled lives. The only way to do that is through nutrition and exercise. He believes in that deeply, right? And we should too. This is our industry. This is our niche. This is what we love. This is why we're coaches. So I think when I looked at Success Club early on, I was looking at it from the lens of my sponsor, corporate, other coaches who were doing it well. And it wasn't until I shifted that and said, what is this going to represent in my business? What does Success Club mean to me? And it became a gauge of my personal engagement and commitment to my mission. That's what it became. Because for me, if I wasn't, and it wasn't about Shakeology or fitness at that time, which is also really interesting. It was actually the commitment to help new people every single month, not just stay comfortable in my challenge group or with the current people that I was working, but to really bring in brand new people every single month because I wanted my reach to expand. I wanted it to compound. I wanted my pipeline to grow because I wanted to help a lot of people. And I knew that if I want to help a lot of people, A, I can't do it by myself. And B, I can't just sit in my challenge group and wait for people to work. I have to constantly bringing in people to work and who are working, right? To reactivate those who aren't and to keep my pipeline strong. I needed people graduating from my challenge group, not just entering it. Does that make sense? I needed them graduating it because I needed coaches. I needed people who wanted to help people, period. For me, and the way that I run my challengers, my challenge groups is, I don't care whether you become a coach or not. When you hit that transformation, you're going to help somebody else do it. Whether you're a challenger or a coach, I don't care. The mission is the same because I want to duplicate and I want to help people. And I think that that mentality really helped me bring on coaches in the beginning, because they knew that's something that was part of the expectation. You're either going to become an active member in my challenge group and you're going to help the new people coming in, because now you've done this, right? Like now you're the expert. You're my girl. I'm going to go to you and you're going to support them and help them and encourage them, right? And it just bred a really cool culture. So one, know what Success Club is for you. What's it going to bring to your business? And trust the process. It's uncomfortable. It's awkward for a reason. If you're uncomfortable, it means you're growing. If you're super comfortable, if you're frustrated, if you're not moving forward, you're stuck. So that's just a really good gauge, okay? The second thing is really becoming that full solution coach. And I'm just gonna give you a really quick example so we can get to the work. Free groups, free samples, free signups, they're long-term plays. Are they valuable? Yeah, they are. Do they put money in our pocket immediately? No, and that's okay, right? For me, that wasn't okay. I was 6 figures in debt. I had no dollars. I was like, I can't, my husband was like, if you don't make back the money that you paid for your challenge pack, you're quitting. Like, I didn't have the option to work for free. So I've never, in 10 years as coaching, worked for free. I've made a paycheck since the first week I was a coach. Every single week. Because otherwise, what am I doing? If I'm not selling, I'm not inviting. I'm not out there talking to people. I'm not bringing new people in. I'm not caring for my current challengers. What am I doing, right? Like, your sales are your gauge of activity. Like, what have you been doing if you're not earning income? Because everything funnels to that, right? So for me, free groups, free samples, free signups ran their course in about 30 days, 30 to 45 days. And I will tell you that in those 45 days, I went diamond of becoming a coach and doing, like, letting people into my groups for free and just inviting and doing all this stuff, right? It served a great purpose for me. It really helped me get going. But eventually I had to turn to sales, commitments, and transformations, because those were the short-term gains, right? And also the quick gains, and also what grew my business and kept the mission going. That's really when I started to help people transform, is when I got really committed to the solution. If you're overweight, if you're unhappy with where you are, if you feel unhealthy, let's work on it. Here's the solution. Let's move your body every day and let's eat like you mean it, right? Like, real simple. So I think number 2, really becoming a full solution coach and understanding what that means to you. Do you believe in nutrition and exercise combined as the permanent weight management solution? Yes or no? And do your clients know that? Or are you all over the place? Okay. And then the third thing is really know your package. And what I mean by this, I talked to my leaders about this week. And Randy, my girl, I think she's on here. Maybe she can post your little graphic. I had them make a graphic of their ideal package. Like, the product, you're going to lead with what you know and what you love and what transformed you, right? Like, what products was that for you? For me, it was P90X and it was Shakeology. There were no challenge packs when I started coaching. So it was the DVDs, like the program, and then it was Shakeology. Those are the 2 things that changed everything for me. It was 1 million times easier for me to sell P90X than it was Shakeology. Why is that? Why is it so easy to sell the fitness or vice versa? Like, why is it easy to sell one thing but not the other? So when you really look at your business and you say, okay, like, what changed my life? What products, if I could ideally start every single person in my business this way, which products would you choose? I want you to write them down. What are those things? Ideally, this is like in magic dreamland. If every single person could start with this supplement stack and this fitness stack, what would it be? I'm going to give you 2 minutes to write it out. It's important. Yay, thanks for sharing that, Randy. Okay, so this part of it's going to be quick, but I would start everybody on Shakeology. Super easy. I think that's the gateway drug into nutrition. It's so simple. I now would put Nutrition Plus in there, which I didn't before, because of Body Interactive, because I think that's a life-changing, game-changing platform. BOD, obviously, right? But I would also probably have them do Energize and Recover, because so many people give up because they're sore, they don't have energy, and they're not used to their body actually feeling the way that it feels when it changes. It hurts. Can I get an amen? It can sucks, right? But I also have long-term plans for my challengers. And generally speaking, once I get them through a couple programs, I will say like 90% of my challengers and coaches have done the Ultimate Reset. That program is thebomb.com. I'm doing it again September 1st. And so I try and get them all through that, because what I learned during that program is how to eat, what to eat, when to eat, how much to eat, how my body reacts to food. Like, I learned about my own personal body and how it reacts to nutrition. I had a nutritional transformation. And how often do we get that opportunity? Never, because we're always doing fitness and we're always doing nutrition. The Ultimate Reset is my way of helping people see what food is doing to them. So if they are really struggling with their diets, they're really struggling with food, and they're awesome with the fitness, they're just kind of all over the place with nutrition, the Ultimate Reset's where it's at, because it takes moving off the table. It takes exercise off their plate, which is very uncomfortable for people, right? Because what have we been taught? You have to exercise incessantly in order to lose weight or to be healthy. And that's not true. So when people see how quickly and how significantly just working on their food can literally transform their body inside and out, you guys should see the transformations that come from this program. They are blown away and never the same. They're never the same. It changes them forever, because regardless if they start eating the way they did before or not, they know now. They know what food is doing to them. It's so powerful. So let's see. Yes, you can do the 3-day free fresh all breastfeeding, but I would definitely ask your doctor about that. And it totally depends on your milk supply and how much you're eating. That's sort of something that is one-on-one. Anyway, okay, so here's my question. We're gonna go to this first part of this worksheet so we can get to work. And you're gonna write this really quick. Do you know what you feel about nutrition? This is a really easy exercise, but it's really important. What was your nutrition problem? Or what is your nutrition problem? Identify it and write it down. What are the solutions that you personally used to overcome them or are using to overcome them? And what is your mindset about nutrition? What do you believe about food? and how you should eat and your approach. I want you to take 5 minutes and I want you to answer every single one of those questions. Okay? It should be pretty simple. Yes. Okay, so Luna. Is it Luna? I love that name. So pretty. Portion Fix and Monthly Fix got me out of binge eating and overeating. So that is exactly what I'm looking for. Portion Fix and Monthly Fix is the solution. Her problem was binge eating and overeating. So now really it's just what has shifted in your mindset. Like, how do you feel about food now compared to how you did before? And also, like, how do you approach nutrition? Like, how do you mentally think about it? Oh yeah, meal prepping. Greg, my boy Greg, yes. I remember when you started meal prepping and it was game changing for you. See, this is why this is so important, because your personal nutrition problem and your personal nutrition solution is going to be different than everyone else's. So if you're trying to sell the package that everyone else is selling, it's never going to you're never going to feel the connection to it that you want to. Like, when you feel connected to what you're trying to teach people, to give to people, to sell to people, it's a completely different experience than when someone says, here, you need to sell this to people, right? Like, it's a completely different experience. So it's so important to really understand where your personal passion lies with this. And it's in your problem, it's in your solution, and it's in how you think about food. It's your ideology about it, right? You don't have to do this the way that everyone else is doing this. And I promise you, if you lead with what you know and what you love in this category, it's going to help you. And again, it's so important to be able to openly speak about your supplements and not feel salesy.
Pardon?
That's the goal. You have to be able to openly speak about nutrition. You have to passionately be able to say, you need this in your life. And you guys can already tell I'm the most passionate about the ultimate reset, right? Because even just bringing it up, I like had to talk about it because it's that life changing. I believe in it that much. I've seen it transform people's lives over and over and over, right? I've experienced it. And I think when you really think about your nutrition problem, you've experienced it. When you've thought about all the work and trial and error that you've put into your solution, you've experienced that, right? Like, it's not about how long you've been a coach. It's about what you've experienced with your health and fitness journey. It's about what you're experiencing now. It's about what you hope to experience in the future. It's what you're working towards, right? It's where you've been, it's where you are, and it's where you're going. So learning how to talk about nutrition is number one. You have to be able to bring that up in conversation confidently and be able to provide solutions in a confident manner, but still leave it up to the challenger to make the commitment and make the decision. That's the most important thing. You want them committing as quickly as possible. So the more you can ask them what they think and if this is going to work for them and you get them saying yes, 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 they're going to feel in control. They're going to start shifting already from the inside out, and you're going to start impacting them in a positive way, which is what we want, right? From the get-go. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this problem solution mindset and we're going to create a post with it. Okay. And again, what I'm trying to teach you in this power hour is how to create engagement to have conversations and opportunities for Success Club, meaning getting people into the full solution, bringing people into your business that are committed to exercise and nutrition at the same time. Go. That's what we're trying to do. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to create a post, and I'm going to show you an example, and it's going to have 3 paragraphs. What your problem was with nutrition, what you've been doing for the solution, or what the solution was for you. And then the 3rd paragraph is a call to action to your challenge group to start working on the problem. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example, and then I'm going to give us 10 minutes to work on this. So here is just a really simple visual. Okay. The problem. Here's the first paragraph. I was a chronic binger. I thought eating less meant weighing less. So this is the whole, I would starve myself and then I would binge. I would starve myself and then I would binge, right? Like so many people get caught in this cycle. And this was her problem. The solution, it wasn't until I dove into 2B mindset and the portion fix, I was able to unlearn my bad habits and mindsets and bring true lifestyle shift and long lasting results. Okay, the call to action. If you struggle with the starve and stuff cycle, right? I always love to bring the problem into a really simple, not catchphrase, but almost like catchphrase, something that's easy for people to latch onto, because when people think, oh my gosh, I'm in the starve and stuff cycle, how much easier is that to think about than I'm a chronic binger, I overeat, right? Like all these negative words that are constantly thrown at us, but instead you're just like, I'm in this starve and stuff cycle. I need to work on it. It has to be palpable, I've learned, for people to really be able to identify their problems and be able to work on them in positive ways. So if you struggle with the starve and stuff cycle, I promise this will help you. Post below if this resonates and you're ready for the fix. But the more important thing, you guys, is I want you to focus on your hashtags after you post, because you're going to focus on the problem. People who have this problem. So the hashtags that I chose for this particular post, if I was going to post it, binge eating, portion control, overeater, stuffed, you know, and then I always put in things like eating my feelings and like more personality hashtags over topical hashtags. Does that make sense? Because most of the time, this is how people hashtag stuff. So it just kind of brings a little bit of personality into them. So I want you to do 10 to 15 hashtags, right? Pick a picture of yourself. People like pictures of people. This is like one of the most simple rules about photography. People like to see pictures of other people. So if you're constantly posting graphics or just pictures of like your workout room, I see a ton of pictures of really dark workout rooms with weights and like crap all over the place. How much better is that picture if you're standing right in the middle of it? Like, this is my spot. This is my jam. This is where the work goes down. Let's go, right? Like the energy is just different. So try and picture a picture of yourself, good quality, good lighting. And I want you to work on this post for a good solid 10 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to give us a minute. I'll keep this up so you guys can reference it. And you can ask questions in the chat if you need to. Okay, so you guys can keep working. We're just gonna segue into the next part of this. So I'm just gonna explain it really quick. Once you post your post, you put the nutrition, you've got your paragraph down, you've hashtagged it. I want you to share it to your stories. And I want you to either go live in your stories or create a post in your stories that somehow pulls or engages, asks a question about the post you just made. Hey, I just made a post about a problem I was facing with my nutrition. Go check it out. Please tell me your thoughts. How do you feel about it? I want you to pull your followers about it so that you've got a list of people all day now to talk about this problem with and this solution, right? And then call them to action and start little conversations behind the scenes, not just out front, right? That's really the whole goal, is to get them in your DM and have a one-on-one conversation with people. So the next part of it is sharing it to your story. So this is just a little example that I wrote up. Posted about my nutrition, a post about my nutrition just dropped. Let me know what your thoughts are. And then the next post, you know, you can do a little poll or ask a question or whatever and have them engage. It's always best, I think, if you do a video and you're like, hey, I just talked about this problem I was having with my nutrition. I shared the post in here so you can click on it. Click on it. I would love your thoughts. Super simple, right? But it creates engagement and conversations and responses and replies. And that's really what we want. We want that connection and that conversation with people. So this is the next step. So I'm going to let us go for another 6 minutes and then we'll go to the next part.
Beanie Baby? Is your sister still sleeping? Okay, did you tell her to come down here?
Yep.
Okay, she's coming down?
Well, I made how many boys?
You did.
Okay, so once you guys have done this, and you can really follow this formula and this thing with every single post that you make, and you're going to get a lot more engagement and a lot more opportunity for conversation. So if you post everything to your story and then you create, what I like to do is create a post, and that kind of becomes the topic of the day. And that's sort of what I try to get people to engage on all day long. So in my stories, that's what I would talk about. In my one-on-one conversations, that's what I would talk about. So if you kind of think about it that way, like your first post is going to set your tone of the day. So if there's a topic or a conversation that you really want to focus on or need to for your business, then bring it to life and then put some work into that post to really get eyes on it. Put it in your stories, hashtag it, poll it, ask people for engagement on it, and then you're going to network it. Meaning, if you do these little networking exercises right after you post, it's just going to also bring more eyes to it, because everybody you network with is going to go to your page and see that post that you just made. So it will increase your engagement, right? So this little networking box is what we're going to focus on for the next few minutes. I do an exercise called find and follow. We used to do this follow unfollow, which we don't really do anymore, but find and follow is really about researching the hashtags that you just used in your post, like pulling them up in the search engine on Instagram, and then networking with the people who have also used that hashtag, meaning liking their pictures, saving any content in that hashtag that you really like, and immediately sharing it to your story. So say, for example, you talked about like overeating or binge eating or whatever, right? And so you hashtag binge eating. So now what you would do is you would pull up that hashtag, you would look and see whoever else has used it. You'll like, 25 to 30 of those photos. That's networking. And then if there's any content in there, if you find an expert who on this topic, because you'll find a lot of people when you do this, follow them, right? They'll give you a ton of content to share, to inspire you. Look for stuff that you can immediately share to your stories on the topic. It's not just you talking about it. It adds credibility to your post. It adds information and education to what you're trying to bring to light, right? It shows you're a team player and that you're trying to educate and learn yourself. There's so many benefits to that. Plus, if you share other people's content, people like to share that other people are sharing their content. So they may shout that out, and you might get reshared on that page, which brings a ton of eyes to you, right? And this whole networking thing, so we do our post for what, 10 minutes? We take a poll that takes like 5 minutes, and then we network for another 5 to 10 minutes. Like, that's a humongous start for your day to build a list all day long of people to talk to, right? So if you're like one of those people, it's like, I don't have anyone to talk to, this is how you're going to do it. This is how you get people to talk to. Okay. So what I want you to do is pick a couple of those hashtags that you used, and I want you to go and do this networking on it. One of the biggest things, exercises that I found right now on social media that bring me new followers is by going into bigger accounts who are speaking on topics that I'm also talking about. So like, if, for example, I don't know why I keep saying binge eating, because I actually really don't like that term, but that's for whatever reason what keeps coming up. If you hashtag that and then you find someone, a therapist, a doctor, someone in the professional field, I would recommend, that is talking about this and specializes in it, I would recommend following them and going through their content, looking at any of their content that speaks to you, and then going into the comment section on that post and hearting, liking everyone's comments on it. That one thing has led to more actual followers for me than almost anything else on Instagram right now. Because what happens is that little heart sends that person a notification that says, Vanessa or Tracy or Samantha just liked my photo who is this girl? And they'll go to your page and they'll be like, oh, she's talking about this topic too. And I already follow this other lady who talks about it. So they're going to automatically be more interested in your content. Does this make sense? It's smart. Everything is connected. And what's cool is that you can do this independently on every single post. So not every post has to be about the same topic, though that's what your niche is. That's when the niche talk comes in, right? Is when you do find a topic that you can consistently talk about that you're super passionate about.
You okay,
That's
Lila?
your niche.
Okay.
And then the way that you network with it is this way. You find people who are interested in the topic and you bring them to your page. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes to go through this. Yes, thyroid, found a doctor for thyroid. Perfect. That's exactly what I'm talking about, because now all of the doctor's followers who are following him or her for that thyroid issue, right, are now an audience that you can start bringing to your page through hearting their comments and being like, hey, I'm here. I liked what you said, right? Like, be social on social media. Look aggressively to educate yourself. You do that through searching, learning, finding, right? Like, that's how we do it. So use your time on social media to improve yourself, move forward, create a circle around you of growth, and literally, like, forget everything else. Everything else is a waste of your time. When you're in work mode, when you're in coach mode, be intentional. Okay. I'm gonna give you a few minutes to do that, and then I'll wrap up and just kind of give you the other little pointers and tips, and then we'll go.
Shh, you guys, Auntie Haley and Baby Meyer are still sleeping.
Okay, while you guys are networking, I'm just gonna give you some other little tips, okay? When you're working for specifically for Success Club, trying to drum up conversation to where you can sell product, get people in your challenge group, right? One of the best ways, and maybe was it Tracy? I can't remember who said. Oh no, Kylie. Kylie said that she just hit Success Club All Star, which means she hit Success Club for 12 months in a row, right? The way that I personally think you do that is A, committing to bringing in new people every single month and having that mean something to you, right? Like really having that represent something to you personally and how you show up. But second, it's about having an active challenge group all the time. You have to have a challenge group running every single month, because when you do, you have something to invite people to every single month. So if you're hesitating to create a group or a bod group or whatever, because you don't feel like you're equipped or you know how to set it up right, stop thinking about any of that and literally go into Facebook, hit create group, and then it will be there for you. And then you can create it and make it what it is. You don't make it what it is before, right? You're caught in this mindset of trying to come into something finished that hasn't even started yet. Does that make sense? Like it doesn't matter. People don't care. I'm gonna just tell you guys, at the end of the day, people don't care about the pretty. They care about the results. That's it. Like at the end of the day, like if you have the most beautiful challenge group in the world, if it's not helping people get results, they will leave it again and again and again and again and again. So the most impactful thing that you can do is show up. Just be yourself. You are the challenge group. You are. If you show up in it every single day, it will build itself, right? If you build it, they will come. Who knows that reference? That's like an old school movie reference. But anyway, okay. Yeah, you can, well, your bod group, either one. You can do a Facebook group or a bod group or both, whatever you do, whichever you do. Obviously, I'm going to tell you to do a bod group because that's what we have to tell you to do. But so here's just a couple other ways you can get conversations going around this stuff. Start bringing conversations to yourself, is to poll your challengers. I also like to poll for samples, but I only do this with friends and family. I don't send samples publicly or to my challengers unless I've already built a relationship with them and they've already committed and invested in themselves. But if you reach out to your family and friends, it's different because you could actually go make a shake for them and you can say, hey, I need some reviews on this. Hey, I need some testimonials about this. Will you try this and let me know what you think, right? About the taste, about whatever. And it just gets the product in their mouths. And then if they decide that and you kind of educate them while they're drinking it so they know what they're drinking so that they can review it properly for you, right? And give you a real testimonial of it. I found early on that was really effective. And it actually made me feel really good because I can help my friends and family that way for free, really. But it got a lot of people interested in the product naturally, and I really liked that. Obviously, you guys can post any of this stuff the same exact way on Facebook, network the same way, go into groups the same way, and do it on 2 platforms and double down, right? Your engagement every day. You can pull up the reports in your online office of your current customers on Residual Shakeology or Residual Nutrition Plus or the Performance Line, whatever. And then you can look at people who used to be and aren't anymore and reach back out to them and follow up. Hey, I noticed you stopped using Energize. How are you feeling? What's going on? Like, have the conversation. Don't be afraid. That's our job, is to help people stay on track, right? With their health and fitness. So if you see them not on track, if they come back and they say, oh, I can't afford it this month, who cares? Like, that's great. Okay. At least we understand. So what are we going to do instead? Right? Like, be interested in creating a plan for them, however they're able to make a plan, not just when they can buy something. Do you know what I'm saying? And the more times you do that, the more trust you build and the more likely they are to invest in themselves. Does that make sense? Okay. And then the very last thing, this is your homework for this week, okay, is to create a graphic, either in Canva, WordSwag, CutStory. There's literally a bajillion different apps. And my girl Randy posted hers in here. It's kind of up in the chat thread, but of your package, like your ideal package. And this is what I want you to focus on selling all the time. Remember at the beginning of this call, when we wrote down everything that we would have our clients start with, ideally, if we could: Energize, Recover, Shakeology, BOD, Nutrition Plus, Body Interactive. That was mine, 6 things. Those 6 things. If I could just get people using those things, right? Like they'd be pretty complete at that point. They'd be very well equipped. Does that mean that every single person is going to start that way? No. Did we start that way? No, we worked up to it, right? But if you offer that and you say, this is what I ideally think would make your life easier on this journey, and here's why. This is how Shakeology works. This is how you could use it in your day and with your workouts. Here's what Energize is. Here's how you use it. Here's what it's going to do for your day. Here's Recover. This is what it does. This is when you use it. This is what it's going to do for your journey, right? Here's Body Interactive for those days where you just cannot do another workout with the same trainer in your program. You can mix it up, do something different, keep your mindset vibrant in this scenario, right? It's important. There's so many different ways that you can sell. And then you guys, this is the beautiful part. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. Let them tell you what they need. You provide a solution and options, and they tell you what they feel like would really benefit them at the moment. Because right now it's not about money, right? It's just about the solution. So tell me what you think about these, because the customer, the challenger, is always going to be thinking in the back of their mind, how much is this going to cost? How much is this going to cost? Forever. That's not something that you have to stress about. That's not your job. That's their job. That was your job when you were a challenger. You stressed about it. And guess what? You figured it out, right? You made the choice to either buy or not. And look where you are. Trust your challengers a little bit, but push them, challenge them. Make sure that your relationship with them is established immediately, that you are a full solution coach, that you're not here to just let them continue doing whatever they've been doing. And if they do want that, this is not the community for that. Beachbody is not about people who are complacent, right? Beachbody works for people who are hungry and people who are ready. Health and fitness works for people who are hungry and people who are ready. It does not work unless you are. So this is your opportunity with your package to weed those people out immediately and not waste any more time of your time, right, on people who are not committed and not ready to go. Like, that person has every right to come back to you and say, hey, Jace, I love the idea of all of this stuff. What can we do? Because this is my price range. What should I do right now? And you better believe I'm going to tell them exactly what I think is going to be best for them to do right now and what we can put off or try in a month or so or reassess with, right? This isn't a black and white situation. People live in a gray area. Like, life is gray. There has to be some flexibility in there. You have to teach from the get-go that this isn't a black and white scenario. This is very much something that is evolving and growing, and their journeys are going to progress just like they are. So giving them that confidence from the beginning. Shakeology, exercise every day. This is what we're going to do for 30 days, no matter what. In 2 weeks, I'm going to ask you how you're feeling. And if you're sore, we're going to do Recover. If you have no energy, we're going to get Energize, and it will help you. So let's see how you feel the first couple weeks with Shakeology and just your exercise, and we'll reassess. Like, be realistic. You know what I mean? But really, don't be afraid to push people. That's our job. And it's exciting when you really understand what you're trying to help people experience, right? Okay. I'm just going to answer questions. You can hop off if you want, because I know it's already gone over, and I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. But one, Ashley said, when budget is an issue, what is your immediate top two you offer? Shakeology and BOD. 100%. And the reason for that is because it's so easy. Those are not like the most simple shit. There's nothing more simple than Shakeology. Think about it. Nutrition Plus, more complex than Shakeology. They have to research stuff. They have to read stuff. They have to go in and look at stuff. They have to print stuff. Not with Shakeology. They can literally get it in the mail, open the bag, and make a shake. It's so easy. Okay. I personally, the way that I sell when I'm inviting into my challenge groups is I start with that full solution. I go through where they've been, where they are, where they're going, and I say, these are all the products that I think we should work towards, because this is what's going to help you personally. Here's how, here's why I think this based on the history that you've given me. Here's how it's going to manifest and work in your life and in your day and make your life easier, right? And how it's going to get you to where we ultimately want to be. Let me know what you think. And they'll come back to me and they'll be like, this sounds amazing. How much is it? And I'll send them a link and be like, here's the full package. And they'll be like, oh, I can't spend that. And I'll be like, okay, then here's what we're going to do. We're going to do Shakeology and BOD, and we're going to work up to these other things. I keep making the plan and I keep moving them forward, but I still have flexibility in there to understand that their finances are their own. That's not my responsibility. I don't, you know what I'm saying? My responsibility is to help accommodate that if they need to, and to figure out other solutions for them. That's it. But I'm still going to find a solution, right? Like, oh my gosh, that baby Luna is killing me. If babies and dogs, Tracy, your dog, I see all these things and I'm like, I don't know what's going on anymore. I don't know where I am. It's fine. But just really, honestly, you guys, if you just take the reins, but the number one thing is knowing what your personal ideal package is. That's what you're going to start with, right? And then you can move from there. You can accommodate and find different solutions as you need to. But you having something that you start with is key. Like, you got to know what you're selling in order to sell it. If you don't, you'll never sell anything. And if you don't feel passionate about what you're selling, you'll never sell anything. That is just sales, right? When you find a solution and you're like, this is the solution. Was my solution. This is the solution I want to change people's lives with. It's different. It changes everything, right? So think through it and really try to identify your Success Club story. And I promise, just like Kylie, you'll hit that Success Club All-Star, and it will just become part of your business to hit Success Club every month. I'm going to give you guys this little action hour guide one more time. I'm in the process of creating a little hub on Instagram for all my templates so that I can just be like, go here and you can get the template, because that will make my life significantly easier. So hopefully by the next time we talk, I'll have that up. But here is the Power Hour file. And I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Have a happy rest of your Saturday. Hopefully this was helpful.